Alright, so we're doing Nexus-Princess Ky'veza. Nexus-Princess Ky'veza arrived at Nerub-ar Palace only recently, quickly establishing herself as a confidant of Queen Strats. However, rumors abound within the inner court that she may harbor a dark and deadly secret. If discovered, the princess is prepared to dispatch all witnesses without mercy. Alright, so just a quick overview. Ky'veza marks targets for their assassination while hunting Nether Phantom emerges from from the shadow to mirror the massacre. Upon reaching 100 energy, Ky'veza evokes Starless Night as phantoms slaughter her enemies in the darkness. So it sounds like phase 2 is an ad fight at that point. So we hit the boss, then phase 2, then we do ads and go. Couple of quick things. So Chasmal Gash increases damage taken from each strike of Void Shredder. Void Shredder, Ky'veza carves a series of deep lacerations. Go away. Deep lacerations into the current target. Each inflicts 1.7 million damage. So that's pretty rough. Physical damage and then shadow damage. Creates a Chasmal Gash. And that's a Void Rune that inflicts damage every 2 seconds. Increases damage taken for their Void Shreds for 25%. So Void Shredders is the tank swap. But it's only 25% more. So increases damage taken from each strike of Void Shredders. Okay, so we're doing Void Shredders for tank swaps can probably take 2 or 3 hits, 25% increase damage each time from next one each time. Something like that. Okay, it's just 25% increased damage from each hit. Don't worry about that. Alright. So we have that. Players pulled into another rift become atomized. Yep, that's a lot of damage. There is a pull, so you gotta run away from that. And Reaper attempts to execute players at low health. If you wonder why I'm going so fast, it's also because I did take a quick peek beforehand. Didn't really start working on strats though, as you can see. But also, we accidentally tested this today. A little bit. So, but there was like so many problems that it's not, yeah, there was a lot of problems and we weren't supposed to be testing it anyway. So Blizzard just really messed up testing. I just think they weren't ready for the number of people that they have. But assassination couldn't have venom. Okay. So we're gonna go and we're gonna start with stage 2. So we have P1, P2 at 100 energy. Because P2 is kind of like the fastest one to do. Lifts into the air and pulses a flux of darkness, inflicting shadow damage to all players. Okay, so there's going to be medium damage. Damage a second, or what was it, 24 seconds, I think? Or 24 seconds. On the third starless night, Ky'veza channels infinite darkness until all players have faded into the night. Okay, on the third one, everyone dies. Yeah. So on third one, everyone dies. Cool. Alright. That one's easy. Regicide, nether phantoms rapidly dive in and out of the shadows and slash through players, inflicting 1.2 million shadow damage to any player struck. And Reaper, when a player drops below 10. Yeah, okay, so Reaper continues. That's not how you spell that. Reapers. Continue. Yeah, and so Reapers, anyone below 10% health gets chased, and they do a lot of damage, so they'll kill you. Reapers continue, and then what's the other one here? Nether phantoms rapidly dive in and out of the shadows and slash through players. Ah, my typing is awful today. Nether phantoms. Hit players for a lot of damage. Run around. Run away from everything in this phase. Pretty much. I don't think we can kill the phantoms. We didn't make it into P2 properly. We almost did. Sorry, and then we got kicked out. Yeah, but the Reaper is big. Reapers continue. We'll make a note of that. The other one. So, I mean, like, that's... Yeah, okay. So, we're gonna go here. We're gonna do... Reapers. Place players at 10% health and... If hit, and if hit, we'll kill them. Hence the name Reapers. Okay, that one's pretty easy. Void Shredders is just a tank mechanic, right? It's a series of deep lacerations into the current target. Each strike inflicts 1.7 million damage, and shadow damage, and creates a gash. Gaping Void Wound that inflicts some damage every 2 seconds and increases damage taken from further Void Shredders by 25% for 30 seconds. 25% increased damage from each hit for 30 seconds. Can probably take 1 or 2 of those, but not more than, or like 2 or 3 of those. Obviously, you can take 1, but like 2 or 3 of them should be okay. Yeah. Okay. Not too much more. Only a few more abilities here. We'll do Assassination last. Nether Rift is pretty straightforward because I got to see firsthand what it does. So Ky'veza tears open a wormhole to the Twilight Nether, inflicting 6.3 million shadow damage within 5 yards. The Rift inflicts a bunch of damage to all players every second and pulls them towards the center. Yeah. Nether Rifts open and a lot of Nether Rifts open, inflict a lot of damage to anyone nearby. Move away. Don't get pulled in, or you'll die. Okay, so Nether Rift is done. Daggers. Ky'veza flings regal knives into multiple directions, inflicting 2.2 million shadow damage to any player struck. Avoid Nexus daggers. Easy. Alright, Twilight Massacre. Let's see what this here is. Ky'veza commands her Nether Phantoms to focus players after 6 seconds. They each dash and slice through their target, inflicting 1 million shadow damage and applying Queen's Bane to any player struck. Alright, what's Queen's Bane? A lethal void poison, fit for royalty, inflicts 254k shadow damage every 1 second for 10 seconds. This effect stacks upon expiration. The void infection bursts, inflicting shadow damage within 2 yards. Alright, commands for phantoms to focus players. Alright, so Twilight Massacre. Phantoms focus players. After 6 seconds, they strike. Yeah, they dash. Okay. Dash and strike. Doing lots of damage. leaves Queensbane. And Queensbane is just a dot, right? The void point if it's royalty, yeah, it's a 10-second dot. Second dot that loads on expiration and does damage to anyone within 2 yards. Just move away. There we go. Easy peasy. Okay, yeah, we kind of figured out most of the fight. Time we got pulled out. Okay, so assassination is the last big one. There we go here, assassination. Ky'veza marks several players for their assassination. After 6 seconds, she rapidly shadow steps to each target and eviscerates them, inflicting 1.2 million shadow damage within 5 yards and injecting Queensbane. Ky'veza's shadowy figure resonates, creating another phantom at each location. Okay. So, marks a few players. 6 seconds. Goes to them and does a lot of damage. Plus Phantom and Queensbane. Which we already have a note about that. That's the dot. Always fun. Okay, let's see here. So Queensbane, it's the same thing, nothing different. Another Phantom. Spectral images of Ky'veza that mirror some of her abilities. Oh no. Okay. Image plus. Okay. And the Nether Phantom. Mirrors Nether Rift. Nexus. Daggers. And what's the other one? And does Stalking Shadows, which we don't know what Stalking Shadows does. It leaves another Phantom. Alright. So, yeah. So they're the same things, and then we have this. The Phantom's Haunting Presence inflict shadow damage to all players every 2 seconds. Damages everyone every 2 seconds. So we want to kill them. Okay. And that is it for normal. Let's do work real fast. I'm saying real fast because I feel like I can get these done quick. Alright, P2 Eclipse is new. Ky'veza veils sections of the room with waves of darkness, inflicting 6.5 million shadow damage when caught with it. They're pizza slices, I saw this. Alright, during P2, pizza slices of the room get filled with darkness. Don't be in it. It hurts. Okay. There we go. That's Eclipse. Anything else real fast? Mainly try to do this fast also so that there's less editing. On Heroic difficulty, Dark Mascara spews from bursting players. After Queen's Bane, player explodes with Dark Viscera. Cryptic Gore erupts outwards, inflicting 2.1 million shadow damage to any player hit. Yeah, tons of damage to any one hit. Okay, so I feel like that's a Queen's Bane. I feel like that's gonna be it, but you never know. Yeah, there's not much more they can add to Atomized. Okay. Yep, Queen's Bane, we know what that does. That's it. That's it for Heroic. Let's take a quick peek at Mythic and see what's here. Okay, so we have a few new things. Let's take a peek here, see if any P2 has anything new. P2 has nothing new for us. All the same. Cool. Alright, P1 will have the new thing. So there's Death Masks. We'll take a look at that in a second. I just want to make sure that Mythic doesn't have anything for us other than that new mechanic. Okay, Assassination has nothing new. Twilight Massacre has nothing new. Nether Rift has nothing new. Six Daggers has nothing new. Reaper's got nothing new. And Tank Mechanic has nothing new. Death Mask is the new one. Okay, Death Masks. Ky'veza erupts with a ghastly scream, masking several phantoms in a grim veil. At the start of the next starless night, the phantoms will detonate in a haunting eruption, inflicting 11.5 million shadow damage to all players. Great. Death Cloak. Ky'veza consumes death masks from nether phantoms, dashing through her to cloak herself with dark power for 10 seconds. While active, she pulses 230k shadow damage to all players every 1 second. This effect stacks. Okay, hang on. So Ky'veza consumes death masks from nether phantoms, dashing through her to cloak. Oh. Okay, so let's start off with death masks here. Boss masks several phantoms if they are alive at beginning of next starless night. They explode for a lot of damage. Load and do lots of damage. Yeah, let's just do this. Okay, explode and white braid. Because I feel like that's like that much damage. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage. And that's definitely gonna wipe the raid. Okay, and then Death Cloak. If Masked Phantom moves through boss, she gets a buff. Right, that's what that is. Dashing through her to cloak herself with dark power for 10 seconds. While active, she pulses damage. Yeah. If Masked Phantom moves through boss, she will Pulse damage to raid. Don't let phantoms go through boss. And that's it. That's it for that fight. Alrighty. Now to go and do my usual read through. Yeah. And it looks like we're probably just gonna lust. A lot of these are just on pull. Alrighty. And let's do it. Welcome to Nexus-Princess Ky'veza. We're going to be lusting on pull, and the tank swap is going to be Void Shredders. You can take about 2 or 3 hits most likely. It increases damage by 25% each time you're hit for 30 seconds, so you don't want to take too many of those, but you can probably take a few. 2 or 3, maybe a few more. Probably start swapping around 2 or 3, and we'll see if we can ramp that up. But basically when it starts to hurt, that's when you swap. Keep in mind that 30 seconds for it to fall off. Anyways, P1, you're going to have Reapers that are going to chase players when they hit 10% health. If you're hit, it'll likely kill you, so keep everyone topped up. That's super important. Don't let people drop below. Don't let people drop to 10% or below. For Nether Rifts, they open up and they inflict a lot of damage to anyone nearby. They're like a big circle. Yeah, they're really, really obvious. But don't be nearby because it does a lot of damage. If you're close, so move away, and then they're also going to have a bit of a pull, so you don't want to get sucked into that. Otherwise, you will also die. You take a lot of damage. There's going to be some daggers when you get thrown out, so avoid those Nexus daggers. Don't get hit. And then during Twilight Massacre, there's going to be some phantoms. They're going to focus on players. After 6 seconds, they dash and strike. They do a lot of damage, and it leaves some Queensbane. So just be ready for that, and try to keep people topped up so they don't die from being hit. For Queensbane, it's just a 10-second dot. It'll explode at expiration, but it does damage to anyone within 2 yards. So when you have that on you, just move away when you're close to exploding. And don't be next to people. For Assassination, she marks a few players, and then after 6 seconds, she goes to them and does a lot of damage, and leaves some Nether Phantoms and some Queensbane. So once you're struck by that, just move away from some people, and all good. For Nether Phantoms, though, we want to kill those pretty quick. They mirror Nether Rift, Nexus Daggers, and also does Stalking Shadows, which is just some damage every 2 seconds. So we want to kill those as fast as we can. They can get a little bit rough. Otherwise, that's it for P1. During P2 at 100 energy, we only get 2 of these on the 3rd one. It just does ramping damage until everyone dies. So we kind of get 3, but we want to try not to be racing in the clock at that point. So yeah, medium damage, every second for about 24 seconds, so it's definitely heal, heal, heal. Then the Reapers do continue throughout that, so don't let people drop below 10% health. A little bit harder during this phase. Nether Phantoms, they will fade in and out, and they'll hit players for a whole lot of damage. So basically just keep running from everything. You just kind of want to keep moving. Don't do stuff. Unclear on if we can kill another Phantoms during this phase. If we can, great. We probably want to do that. But I'd say we probably just want to keep moving, it sounds like. Otherwise, that is the fight. On Heroic, there's a little bit more after Queensbane. You'll also explode with some dark shit will come out of you. It does damage, a whole lot of damage to anyone who gets hit. So kind of be off away from people and try to not hit people with stuff. You don't have to be too far. You'll be fine. So just be aware of that. During P2, you get Eclipse, which is pizza slices of the room get filled with darkness. Don't be in it. It hurts a lot. And then on Mythic difficulty, we get a little bit more. So the boss masks several of the phantoms that go. If they're alive at the beginning of the Starless Night, they explode and will wipe the raid with 11 million damage. So we want to make sure that we target the phantoms that are masked first, and the other ones are second. But more importantly, the phantoms that are masked, if they run through the boss, she will begin to pulse damage. She'll nab the masks off them, and cloak herself in some darkness, and hurt the raid a lot. And this stacks, so that's always fun. So yeah, don't let the phantoms go through the boss. If you are targeted, do not be on the other side of the boss. Try to be around other parts of the room. And just be careful. And that is it. Alright, and thank you for joining me on this video. This is only one boss. The next time I do one of these projects of doing the strats whatnot, I am probably just going to do them in individual boss videos. The 2-hour one that I did was a lot. Anyone who sits through that, fantastic. Thank you, appreciate it. It helps. But yeah, I totally don't blame anyone for not. But I tried to edit it. I edited it down from 4 hours, and I thought maybe I could get it lower by 2 hours. But that is 3 bosses, so yeah. All right, thank you for joining me on this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.